Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Developing a Proper Worldview. This is episode number 99, and we're in section 6, the New World Order. As always, if you're new to the channel or you just happen to be catching this randomly, please go back and watch these in order. They're done sequentially and in a purposeful order, so it is important that you watch them from the beginning. Hence the title, Developing a Proper Worldview. Yeah, I guess that's it for the intro. I've been trying to keep the intro short because a lot of times I just repeat the same things. And we've started looking at world events. So, world events that pertain to our subject matter here. And before jumping into the video, we'll go ahead and do that again. We're currently watching Shadow Government, and we're about halfway through it, so we should be able to wrap that up tonight. In the world, what's going on? I suppose the big news is everybody talking about these drones over New Jersey and the East Coast. And social media kind of spreads all sorts of wild nonsense. It's like there's positives and there's negatives to social media and being able to access information so readily. Like the positive is we're all instantly aware of things that are going on the planet here, and you don't have to rely on government sponsored propaganda, like the mainstream media or your major platforms like YouTube and whatnot, which are all going to be censored and filtered just to provide you the government perspective. All the major media corporations are owned by I think it's 6 small companies, or not small companies, huge companies, but you know what I mean. It's small in the sense that the control grid is small. You have these major corporations controlling everything, and it's all filtered down through them. And these major corporations are tied directly in with the military-industrial complex, i.e. our government. And so the information that we get from these sources is all going to be with the government slant. It's only going to be what the government wants you to hear. So it's all propaganda. Social media allows you to hear from unbiased sources, or at least sources that aren't being paid for by the New World Order system. You still have to be careful because there's a lot of people that are just lunatics out there, or a lot of people that are just uneducated and believing in silly nonsense. So a lot of the talk has been around aliens and UFOs, and it's like, come on, people, wake up. You're saying, what are these drones? You're using the word drone, and then you're saying, are they aliens? No, they're drones. It's sophisticated remote control helicopters or jets or whatever you want to call them. It's human technology. It's in the title, drone. That's human. You think it's just it's alien tech. They just happen to be using turbine engines and LED lights. They just happen to have the same tech that we have. It's silly. So as a Christian, what's your response to that? Well, we know there's no such thing as aliens, not in the sense that Hollywood portrays them. There are other dimensional beings. There's angels. There's demons. There's various forms of angels that we read about in the scriptures. Seraphim, cherubim. There's creatures with many eyes around the throne of God, whatever those are. So there are different kinds of beings that would be alien in the sense that they're alien to what we're aware of. But they're not creatures from planet X or anything like that. There's other dimensional creatures, and they do come in contact with humans every once in a while, and so there's a big propaganda spin on the world. I mean, it's obvious because of how much alien nonsense Hollywood puts out. Like, they want you to believe a certain thing. that the images that they continually produce of the gray aliens with the big eyes, or the reptilian creatures, they want you to believe that. Um, that's propaganda. It's been going on for a long time. H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., Signs. The list goes on and on and on and on, where they're trying to condition you to think a certain way about these beings. But these beings, from a biblical sense, we know that they're fallen angels, that they're deceivers. One of the ways we know this is that when they communicate with people, you can go and read testimonies about it, their communication is always Antichrist. Their communication is always New World Order. Their communication is always, hey, we're here to give you the secrets of the universe so that you can live forever. The same lie the devil told Adam and Eve in the garden. That you can have advanced knowledge, and it's always anti-Bible, anti-Christian. It's always directing away from that. And there's multiple cases where people have encountered these things and have called on the name of Jesus, and they've fled. And that is proof that these things are demonic. They're demonic deceivers trying to pretend like, hey, we're from another galaxy and we have this advanced technology. Because if you buy into that, then it discredits the scriptures. The scriptures talk about us being the focal point of God. Like, mankind is the crown of his creation. We have dominion over everything. And the scriptures talk about salvation on earth and a plan of redemption for earth. There's no mention of anything else. The stars and planets and whatnot were created for us, for signs and for seasons, the scriptures say. So when so-called aliens come along, it discredits the scriptures. And that's the whole point of Satan, is to discredit the scriptures. So it's not alien in the sense of otherworldly. It's demonic. There's demonic forces at play. But with these particular drones, it's not even that. It's just military. You have to remember that our government is so far beyond what we currently have in technology. What's released to the public, and this is just logical. You have to know that if they're giving it to us, they have stuff way beyond that. It's in the 1960s, our government had the internet. They had interconnected computer technology where they could communicate with other computers around the world. That technology was not released to us until the late 90s, I think, right? When did the internet come out? I don't remember, 90s something. But they had it for 30 years. It's been said that whatever technology we have, the government has 50 years beyond that. So they're going to have space vehicles or drones or whatever that's far beyond anything we're aware of. But even that's not the case. These just seem to be regular drones, just big military-style drones. And the fact that... So I've heard that they've been over, and I don't know if this is fact or not. I've pretty much just ignored this story because it's nonsense. It's distraction. It's obviously the government. So, I don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it, but I'm not going to pay any attention to it. It's, they're saying that these drones have flown over nuclear facilities. They've flown over military bases, restricted airspace things. That does not happen. If as a private citizen, let's say you get your pilot's license and you go fly a little plane or a little helicopter over restricted airspace, and you don't leave when they tell you to leave, you're going to get shot down. They don't just allow that to happen. So the fact that they're not shooting these things down is proof that it's their tech, that it's theirs. It's their tech. They're doing something. They're doing some sort of who knows? They could be doing some psyop. They could be doing some simulation test thing. They could be looking for something. Who knows? They're not going to tell us. It's not foreign government because again they would shoot it down. So, and the fact that the Pentagon and the White House came out so quickly with statements of denial, that again just is like, okay, this is, you guys are doing something. And again, I don't know what they're doing. How could you know unless somebody spilled the beans, unless there was a whistleblower? You wouldn't know what they're doing. But it's obviously our government. It could be nefarious, or it could just be some sort of test. I don't know. But it's nothing to get all worried about or hyped up about. It's not aliens. It's not foreign government. Our government is doing something. How does that play into New World Order? Well, there have been plans, again, and we've talked about this numerous times, how the New World Order operates its agenda from 1,000 different points. Like, it doesn't really care which path it takes to get to the New World Order. It's willing to adjust, to pivot, and it's willing to have simultaneously multiple different plans with the same end goal, and it doesn't care which path you take. So one of the things that they had hypothesized about doing years ago was something called Project Bluebeam, and I haven't looked too much into this either, but they wanted to use holograms and drones and simulations to fake an alien invasion, to scare the populace into accepting world government. And again, the end goal is always world government. And they use whatever crisis they can, fabricated or real, to achieve that goal. They don't care how they get there. They're just going to get there. So Project Bluebeam was one of their plans. I don't know if that's still operational or not. I don't know if they still plan on doing it. Again, they've certainly conditioned the population to be ready for something like that. And it seems like that would be pretty effective. If all of a sudden you had so-called alien attacks on major cities all across the world, it would be pretty easy to sell world unity as the solution. Hey, all the governments of the world need to come together to fight this. We need a world government. We need a world body to orchestrate a response to this. So that's one of the ways. And just to give you an idea of how these different paths work, global warming is the same way. Hey, we've got this warming situation we need to remedy. We need a global governing body to take care of that. Hey, there's a war on terror, and we don't know where it's coming from because it's not specific governments. It's different groups within governments all over the world, and so we need a collective body to take care of that. It's there could be nuclear war, and they say, hey, World War II. The goal of World War II was to produce world government. They wanted to say, hey, we need to make sure something like this never happens again. The solution is world government. And it took them steps. They got closer to world government with that, but they didn't achieve their goal. But everything is aimed towards that. And they're willing to take whatever path is necessary to get there. So I don't think this is Project Bluebeam. Again, I think it's just some sort of psyop, or it's the government searching for something that they don't want to, like I've heard. Well, I'm not going to get into it. I'm sure if you've done any research on it, you'd be aware. But they're doing something, and they just don't want to tell us what it is. But it's government, and 90% of the time, UFOs and alien sightings and stuff like that, it's going to be government tech, unless it's direct contact with some sort of creature, in which case then it's demonic, because there's both. The demons are operating in this world. We know that from the scriptures. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. And we know that they present themselves to people sometimes. So it's either that or when it's just flying saucers and whatnot. That's just advanced government technology. So I suppose that's the big world news. Anything else really going on? I'm trying to think here. I mean, we're getting closer to Inauguration Day, which is, again, I'm very suspicious about why the left has all of a sudden become really, what's the word? They've become soft, palatable, malleable, whatever it is. They seem to be a lot less aggressive in their attacks on Trump. They kind of like they were all Trump is a beast, Trump is a monster, Trump's a racist, Trump's a sexist, Trump is the new Hitler, and then he's elected and they're like, well, let's just have a peaceable transition. And it's like, there's something suspicious going on there. So I've thought that they're probably really going to try hard to get a war with Russia going, either prior to the inauguration or right after it, to steal power back, to make Trump ineffective, to just cause chaos, or an economic collapse. I don't know. I don't know what the agenda is. But we're getting closer and closer, so you got to be on high alert. Be real watchful. They could pull something off here within the next month or so, or again, I don't know what their plan is. Maybe they're just backing off the gas pedal a little bit, and giving us a little reprieve here before they start firing it up again. I doubt that because everything that I've heard says that their agenda is moving full steam ahead and they have an end date of 2030. So I don't think they can afford to take any time off, but we'll see. Yeah, I guess that's all I got for an intro. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to go ahead and click on the link down in the description. Jump over to Rumble to finish the video. I don't trust YouTube to keep my videos up anymore. They keep taking things down and putting strikes against me. So, yeah. Without any further ado, then, let's jump into it.